Hello everyone, I'm Pacific the Casual Gamer, and someone asked me to make a Rainbow Six Siege video on tips for new players, and frankly, I'm not the best at explaining this game to new people. I could be kind of overwhelming. So instead, what I'd like to talk to you guys about today is tips for new people getting into the competitive scene. What you should look for, what you should be open to, if you want to try to get into the competitive scene, because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to get into the competitive scene. I've been at it about 6 months, or so, 7 months, I don't know. And it's been really fun, but there's a couple things that I noticed that could steer a lot of regular players away, okay? Now, the first thing that I want to stress is don't feel like because you want to go into the competitive scene, you have to play this game 8 hours a day, because you absolutely don't have to, okay? I would recommend kind of poking and prodding before you make this decision, because, we're talking about these competitive players, like Canadian, for example. He has 12,500 hours in the game. The game's been out for 5 years. If you do the math on that, that's roughly 6 to 8 hours a day since launch. Okay? That's a lot of time. You could have literally mastered another skill. You could have probably built a business that makes you like $5,000 a month or something. I don't know. You could easily have done a college degree in that amount of time, right? Or stretch that time out and got a master. I don't know, But the sacrifice there to be an absolute pro is the best. But if you just want to try it out, dude, try it out and be honest with yourself, Be honest if it's not your thing, if you hate it, if you don't want it, be okay with that, Now, when we get into competitive mindsets, right? The most important thing, if you made that decision, you're like, all right, I'm going to do it, is try as hard as you can to frame everything in a way where it's your fault, right? And what I mean by that is, let's just say you hop in a solo queue, okay? We get this all the time. Solo queue. All my teammates are bad. Well, you could frame it like that. Or you could say, hey, I popped in a solo queue. I accepted that I was going to roll the dice. I'm going to get random teammates. I got 4 bad teammates. It's not their fault. It's my fault because I took the roll and I got a bad roll, right? I had bad luck. I got 4 bad teammates, right? It happens, That's what I mean by it's your fault, right? What could I have done better that round, right? You lose a round, right? Maybe you lost because you lost a gunfight, right? Oh, my teammate wasn't there to have my back. No, you lost because you lost a gunfight, right? A teammate makes a bad call out, right? Well, my teammate made a bad call out and I acted on it. Well, you could have not acted on it, right? You want to do that as much as possible, because that's going to give the power to you to improve yourself, right? And that's the next thing we're going to talk about, right? Is seeking improvement. When you play Siege competitively, right? The competitive big brain, what helps a lot, especially with emotional control and learning, is you need to be playing for improvement, not for clout, not for money, not for rank, okay? Play because you love it and you love to improve, right? We get this all the time. I get this way too all the time too, is I lose a bunch of elo in ranked, right? Rank doesn't matter. It doesn't. You should be looking to improve, right? Because if you look at pro players, people like Pango, I think, are unranked, but, just because you're a gold or a silver or a bronze doesn't mean that you suck. It means that you're that rank at that point, okay? Or a diamond, whatever rank you are. Why are you a diamond? Maybe you got carried by champs, I don't know. But you need to be looking for improvement, because, yeah, you could win a ranked game, but maybe you could have picked Pulse because you're trying to be a Pulse main. You would have lost, but you would have learned some stuff on how to be a better Pulse player. So, basically, to sum it up, every time you get on ranked, a good side note to think about is, I'm going to steal this from Gary Vaynerchuk. Think in 50-year terms, not in 50-day terms. A lot of us that play Siege, it's easy to think in 50-day terms. Actually, 50-minute terms, 50-second terms, right? 50-day terms. Oh, this season I'm not a plat, I'm a gold. Right? Versus 50 years, one of the things I think about is I think about, and this bothers me a lot, I think about all the YouTube videos I've watched over the years, right? And I realized that if I would have spent 1 hour less on YouTube a day and taken that hour and spent it on Siege, I would have twice as many, just one day, right? 1 hour of Siege more every day for 1 hour less of YouTube. I would have twice as many hours in the game as I do now. And I would definitely be a much better player, right? That's what you got to think about. I could have, right? There's a bunch of times where I spent playing Siege in ranked just to rank up rather than learn how to be a better castle main. That's one of my jobs, is castle on my team. I could have spent that time learning how to be castle, but instead I picked, you know, Jaeger and just did the same old anchor spots that I do with Jaeger all the time. I could have been Rook and I would have done the same spots. That's a waste of time. Maybe not for the aim, but for the strategy, for the mindset, yeah. You know, those are things that you have to think about and should start thinking about before you really make the jump. Are you capable of thinking about that in Siege, right? Does it mean that you're a bad player if you can't think about that? Absolutely not. These are very hard skills. Like this mindset stuff that I'm telling you, this way of thinking about the game, is extremely difficult to do in something that you don't absolutely love. It's extremely, extremely difficult, okay? And you shouldn't beat yourself up for not being able to do it. If you tried and you gave it your best shot and you realized it's not for you, that's a better win than spending the next 5 years or 10 years or however long Siege is alive kind of trying halfway, kind of not, and getting frustrated. It's better. And guys, that's all I really have to say about starting to play competitive. I'm not going to talk about, like, which operators you should use. Should you do that? You know, most of the obvious stuff is, like, watch Pro League, take the game serious, you know, train specific operators, try to find new angles, right? That's all obvious stuff. But I wanted to show you guys about, you know, the kind of not so obvious stuff that you should really think about, can you pull off before you really start going hard at competitive Siege. So guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please let me know in the comments below. Subscribe for more videos on Rainbow Six, and I'll make some more videos about my esports. I call it my esports journey, and just let you guys know what's up. So I'm Pacific the Casual Gamer. I suck just as bad as you do at video games, and I'll see you guys in the next one.